Hello, podcast listener. Listen, you're going to want to make yourself a peanut butter sandwich as we kick this thing off. And if you're a fan of Garfield or the Peanuts cartoon, we have got a great episode of JJ Meets World lined up, ready for you. 1, 2, 3, go. And by the way, if you'd like to help support our podcast, visit jjmeetsworld.com where you can donate to our Patreon, pick up some killer swag at our merch shop, or click the link to Apple Podcast and give us a 5-star review.
1, 2, 3, 4. J.J. Gordon, sort of like that Indiana Jones, in that he's always sniffing out his next adventure. Yes, he is! He's always interviewing guests so he can have them on his show and they can talk about pop culture, arts, and leisure. J.J. has his flag unfurled and he likes his french fries curled, and he's fun and then he twirls as he goes to meet the world. He will march into the rain even if his ankle sprained. Take a peek inside his brain. This podcast is called JJ Meets World.
Tucker, are you loyal to any brand of peanut butter?
No, I'm not. But no, I'm not. And you know what? I always
in your fridge or in your like cabinet right now. Do you have peanut butter?
I bet I think I have Jif right now.
Jif.
Every time I think about peanut butter brands, I think about Meet Joe Black with Brad Pitt and Anthony Hopkins. You ever see that video?
Yeah. Well, you mean the movie?
Yeah, that video. Yeah,
that it was a twofer. You know, do you remember that? Meet Joe Black was a 2 cassette. Yes, I did. Actually, do you know the reason why I saw Meet Joe Black to start with?
Was it to see the trailer for Star Wars?
It was where the first trailer to episode 1 was found, and so I bought a ticket and I watched the trailer, and then I sat through Meet Joe Black, which has one of the most just jarring moments you could ever expect in a movie with that car accident scene that you just go like, "What?"
Yeah.
But I do remember that scene about peanut butter.
Yeah, because Brad Pitt, who is deaf, is walking around the mansion, and he finds his way into the kitchen where the staff are all taking a break and eating. And the head butler offers to get him something, and he's like, "What are you having?" And he had made a peanut butter sandwich, so he gives him a spoonful of peanut butter. And at that point, they come up with some name for it, but then he's like, it's about as good as Skip or Jiffy. Or Jif and Skippy. I just got those two mixed up. But no, I don't have brand loyalty. I have loyalty to chunky peanut butter.
Okay, you're a chunky guy.
I'm a chunky guy. I like the crunch.
I'm smooth.
I mean, I like smooth. I have nothing against smooth. I love the crunch and I love the texture of chunky peanut butter. I also, though, will never do any peanut butter that says it's low fat, because low fat peanut butter, at least years ago when I tried it for the first time, had this like weird aspartame taste to it. Had like this like they had added some weird sweetener that didn't make sense. So I always make sure it is full of fat, it's regular fat, chunky peanut butter. And after that, I'm down to try any brand. In fact, I would love to get a recommendation on maybe a peanut butter I should try. Okay,
so have I told you about my homemade butter? Have I discussed this with you? Okay, so last year I thought to myself, I want to start a cottage industry. I want to start something that, like, you know, just kind of sets me apart. And I was walking around a farmer's market and I realized, you know what no one's selling? Butter. And so I did some research and I found out how to make homemade butter. And I found out, like, how do you take, you take the cream and how will you mix it, and then you get the buttermilk off of it, and then you mix it again, and you can add salt or you can add sweetness and all these things. And so right before Christmas, I made my own homemade butter. And
interesting.
It was saltier than regular butter, which it would make it great for like on top of a steak. In this case, like, it just didn't taste as good on top of toast, but I've refined that since then. And this summer, I'm going to launch Gordon Family Farms, and we are going to sell butter by the pound. And so I'll have a big, huge, like, roll of, like, butcher paper that'll have, like, the wax lining.
Nice.
And you'll come, and you'll be like, I'll take a pound. And be like, sounds good. What kind? Would you like the herb butter? Would you like the honey butter? Would you, like these things? And I'll take a scoop, and I'll put, like, a pound of butter, and then I'll wrap it up, and you can take it with you. But I also thought at the same time, I should make homemade peanut butter as well, because there's a place in Minneapolis called Hell's Kitchen that makes their own peanut butter. You'd like it because it's on the chunky kind of side of things. But she good. And they make 2 different variations. They make one that is, your standard peanut butter that you'd put on a PB&J, but it's very crunchy and like you have to keep it in the fridge because it's not full of preservatives. But then they make another one that's got chili crisps in it that's kind of spicy.
Ooh. Oh, that would be so good.
I know. And so, like, in all honesty, the first time I used it, I put it on chicken. So I was making like a chicken breast and I smeared it on the chicken breast. And so you got like that spicy peanut butter chicken. Oh, it was so good. And so Gordon Family Farms, I'm going to launch it this summer, and it's going to have homemade butter and homemade peanut butter. And I won't be doing it all summer, but I'll do it at, I'll be at the farmer's market a couple times.
I was going to say, you should get a little, get them to carry it at Hornbotcher's.
I mean, maybe they will. Maybe if it's big enough, they will. Or it's only available during the holiday season or something like that. But, okay, so let's see how many major brands of peanut butter we can name just sitting here. So Jif, Skippy, Peter Pan, right? Then there, your essential everyday, like your store brand, your white label, like that. Are there any other peanut butter brands you could think of?
I've already run out of road there.
Me too.
Are new peanut butters even showing up?
See, exactly, right? And this is what I'm getting at. There are a handful of industries that dominate by like a couple of titans and nobody else. And there's no way to really get into that industry. So here's another one, for example. And I think that they've broken this now because people are making like organic and stuff like that. But for a long time, diapers. Name the 2 major brands of diapers.
Huggies.
Can you do it? Yep.
Pampers.
Name another brand of diaper.
Oh, Huggies.
Exactly.
Oh, depends.
That doesn't count. Those are for adults. I was talking for the babies. Diapers.
You asked for brands of diapers. That was
I did.
You never specified. So I'm right.
I want babies' diapers. But there's other. There's a couple other brands. Things. Toilet tissue. There's a lot of toilet tissues.
Okay. What is the process for making peanut butter? Because even as a kid, I always just assumed take peanuts, grind them up, mix them in butter. That's it. But it's got to be. Wait,
oh, you think it's mixing? Oh, yeah. So
no, that's what I thought as a kid, but I've always known that was wrong.
I have never thought that peanut butter actually had butter in it, but it makes sense. It's right there in the name. And I am going to quote one of the greatest stand-up comedians of all time, Mitch Hedberg. They say that the recipe for Sprite is lemon and lime, but there's more to it than that because my homemade Sprite tasted like shit. And that's the thing, right? Like, so peanut butter is heavy in oil. So that's what makes it creamy like that and so spreadable is there's a lot of oil that's inside of it. And certainly like there's things like xanthan gum and all these other like, modular chemicals and stuff like that. But when it comes down to it, you're grinding up peanuts and you're adding them to some kind of emulsifier and making it run like that. And so it's not like it's very complex, but I think the act of like, I got to shell the peanut. I got to get the peanut out. You can't have the skin on it. Like, you got to wash it, blah, 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 blah. And there are some peanuts that lend themselves better to peanut butter than others do. And so that's an element of it as well.
What other nuts can you do the same thing with? Like, can you do that with cashews?
Yeah. Oh, it's just way more expensive. So think about it like this.
Yeah.
Peanuts, are a bargain basement, right? Like that's probably the most like, they grow a ton of them. And then cashews and almonds are up at the top. That's why they cost so much. That's why when you pick out a can of party mix, right? There's 5 cashews in there and 3 almonds, but then a lot of peanuts. So you can do it. And like the same thing for milk, right? Because they make peanut milk.
You know what?
They make almond milk, obviously.
I used to think that you yawned during our podcast because it was the morning, but it's not the morning. I just think our podcast makes you yawn.
It's not that at all. It is honestly when I put headphones on like this, I have the same problem at work, but you just get to see me when I'm doing it. Other people get to see me yawn all the time.
Now that I brought it up, I'm fighting one right now because I brought it up. Yeah.
I also yawn constantly when someone starts a PowerPoint.
No,
and that's because I am bored.
I'm doing it right
I am bored.
Now. I'm doing it right now. God damn it.
So I also I also think that, to me, the thing about peanut butter that's so great is it feels like it's a very American thing, right? Peanut butter feels like it's America's spreadable. You know, like this is something that America loves, and the backbone of America. Children are raised on peanut butter and jelly sandwiches.
Have you ever had peanut sauce?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That is the best. I think that's better than peanut butter. I mean, you wouldn't use it the same, but I think it just tastes better because when you said it's American, you're right. Peanut butter, yeah. But like I think of like Thai sauce or Thai peanut sauces and stuff. There's just they're so damn good. Peanuts go with so many things. What me and my mom, one of our favorite things to do when we're just hanging out is just to take a big bag of peanuts and sit there and just shell them and snack on those for like an hour, like at the lakes. Like we'll have just bowls of just leftover peanut shells. And I used to tear off the skin. I don't now. I actually eat the skin.
But
I
all
don't
the nutrients is.
Salt and nutrients is. There's more salt in there, more roughage.
The peanut is an interesting snack, and I happen to know quite a bit about it because my dad's company used to make peanuts. Right, Dakota Kid Natural Foods. They made sunflower seeds, but they also had peanuts. So one of the things that I like about peanuts as a snack is there's a little effort into eating it, right? Like it's not a passive. Like you open a bag of chips, you put the chips in your hand, you put your chips in your mouth, and then a peanut, you got to take it, you're cracking it, and then you're hoping that there's two inside there because every now and then you open it up and there's only one and you go, ah. And then you also want a clean crack. You don't want it where like just the crown comes off and then you're like, oh, now I got to get into this thing. And then you have refuse, you have waste, and then you put it away. But then have you ever seen someone who sucks on the peanut shells because they want that salt, right?
Yeah.
And listen, no judgment, no shame.
No,
you do.
I get it.
You boo.
I've done it before. It's just the shell itself becomes so mushy, or just doesn't quite do it for me. But yeah,
do you know how people in the South, their relationship with peanuts is weird.
Right.
So one of the things they do is they boil peanuts. So you get raw peanuts, right, in the shell, and then you boil them, and I think it's a salty water. So essentially you're salting the peanuts, but they serve them hot. They also take peanuts and they put it in their Coca-Cola. Did you know that?
Oh, yeah, I did. That's right. Yeah. Yep, I have heard and seen that before. You know what? I'm not used to seeing that in Kentucky, but I don't really pay that much attention maybe. So
I think
maybe it is a Kentucky thing.
South. Like
because,
I think it's but ding 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 ding
okay,
south.
Got it.
Yeah. Like not that chunk of Appalachia, like way deep. Like Atlanta, like Georgia is doing that with that peanuts. But it's a great snack. Now here's the downside. Peanut allergies, right? And we got very serious about peanut allergies because I think we all heard that urban legend about the girl who was eating peanut butter cups. And then she kissed her boyfriend, and he went into anaphylactic shock, and he died, and she killed him because she ate peanut butter cups. I don't know if that's true. Maybe it is. I don't know.
That's confectioner's peanut butter, though. I mean, it would have some level of peanut in it, but it's not the same. It's not the same thing as peanut butter.
But that's the thing about the peanut allergy is it's so incredibly sensitive.
That's true.
That's why you see on the back of packages like this was made in a facility that has peanuts, and the dust from peanuts can also be really bad. And so restaurants also have to deal with that and say, gosh, hey, we serve this. It's why like sandwich shops stopped serving peanut butter and jelly sandwiches is because it was just too worrisome, and you'd have to have separate knives, and it was a whole rigmarole you had to go through if you wanted to include peanuts, any kind of peanut product on your menu, which I think is a real bummer. But like, hey, do you know anyone who's got peanut allergies?
I don't think so. Not that I'm aware of. When you were a kid, did you ever put peanut butter on your pancakes before putting syrup on them?
No. Get this.
That was something we did.
I don't even put regular butter on my pancakes.
You just go straight for the syrup?
I go straight for the syrup. And if you're one of those people who's like, I put jelly on my pancakes, I'm like, okay.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, like
shit.
Go back to New England. I don't even know if that's a thing from New England, but I'm just going to assume it. So, there's also another thing that when you bring up peanuts, we have to. And really, I had intended on talking about something different today, but your name on our little thing here is peanut butter, so I wanted to really delve into it. Why do you think Charles Schulz named the Charlie Brown gang Peanuts?
You know what? I don't know.
I have to imagine it has to deal with the term peanut gallery. Do you know where that term comes from?
No.
So the peanut gallery was like a part, like peanuts were a cheap snack. And so if you had the cheapest seats in a theater, let's say, you were known as sitting in the peanut gallery. And so it's kind of a derogatory term when someone's like, oh, my thanks for the comments from the peanut gallery. And really well used by Elaine Stritch in the show 30 Rock. She really nailed, my compliments to the peanut gallery. Just delivered it with such vim and vigor. I am a firm believer in the fact that Peanuts is one of the best, worst comics of all time. Because there's some good stuff in there, but there's also a lot of garbage. Like a lot of garbage.
Or do you think are you saying you think it's because you think it's boring, or is it like legitimately bad?
I think it's boring for starters. Okay. I think there's some stuff that's boring. I also think why are we reading the Chronicles of a Depressed Boy? Because I always thought that's the point of it.
I always thought Peanuts, I just assumed this, I don't know if it's true, but that Peanuts was like a slang for kids back then because they're small, right? Like I've heard of people go like, oh, a little peanut, like do that kind of thing. So I always assumed that it was just like, yep, it's a story about little kids, and that's why it's called that. But I don't actually know. And you know what? You know what we could do is use the internet. No.
Don't use the internet. Let's get as deep as we can with our let's go as deep as we can using context clues, and then at the end we'll find out if we're right or wrong, if we got it anywhere close. Because I also think it's interesting because if you say peanuts, people will be like, I don't know what you're talking about, and be like, oh, it's Snoopy. Oh yeah, I know the Snoopy cartoon.
Yeah, that's true.
Because, like, think about, by the time they even make the television specials, they're not saying, like, a Peanuts Christmas. They're saying a Charlie Brown Christmas.
Do you think Snoopy is kind of the Steve Urkel of Peanuts, where it was really supposed to be a popular focus on one character, but this other one kind of took over?
Oh, in that, I was going to say, like, no, if anything, he's the Fonz. Here's the thing. No, I don't. Because I don't think that Snoopy is the star. I don't think you'd want to watch or you'd want to read a bunch of comics that are only Snoopy. I think he's the extra spice you got from time to time in that. For the most part, I think that it was the goings-on of Charlie Brown. I think the problem was they tried very hard several times to make it about other characters that no one wanted to care about. Like, people are like, oh, let's have a whole comic strip about Sally Brown. And everyone's like, no one cares about Sally Brown. It wasn't until Kristen Chenoweth played her.
So my favorite Charlie Brown character has always been Pigpen.
Oh yeah, Pigpen's great.
Because I always loved the way he's drawn, where he has this sort of dust cloud of stink or whatever it is, that he's covered in. And I don't know I think it was in a strip. Maybe it made it into one of the cartoons, but seeing it play out once where he's home and he gets clean, like he just gets out of the bath and he's ready to go and he looks like a normal kid. And the second he steps outside, he's suddenly Pigpen. He just attracts all of it to him. But clearly today you would be like, oh, that kid is experiencing child abuse. Right? Like he's not healthy. That's not a good thing.
Is he wearing an old onion sack for clothes?
So is Rerun Rerun Linus's brother?
No,
I'm looking at
Linus
the gang.
And Lucy are brother. Yeah, Linus and Lucy are brother and sister.
Right. I'm looking at the Peanuts gang right now, and the last character they have listed here is Rerun. Is his name?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, who is this kid? I don't remember who Rerun is.
I don't think he belongs to a particular family.
He's Lucy and Linus's younger brother.
Really?
Yeah.
Why didn't they keep with the L name? That seems like poor planning.
Rerun gets his name when Lucy declares she already had a baby brother and sees no reason to go through that experience again, as it was like watching a rerun of a television program.
Oh, boy. You know what's ironic is that means that character was introduced way later because reruns weren't a thing until, what, like the 80s?
Well, it says he was introduced in March of 73.
Yeah, I don't believe Charles Schultz. I think he's a revisionist.
This is literally from peanuts.com. But the word peanuts, I mean, beyond that, the only other context for the word peanut that I have is actually from when I was a rabbit owner. Because when rabbits breed, they have large broods of baby rabbits. And the mortality rate is actually not that great. Like, let's say it's like 1 in 4. Like every fourth baby rabbit is probably going to be stillborn. And the slang for that is a peanut. I don't know how it got that name. Probably because they're the size of a shelled one, or no, they're a size of one in a shell when they're born. And so that's the only other context for the word peanut I have. I can't understand where else it would come from.
What are the two characters that oh God, why can't that Buster Bluth used to refer to his genitals?
Oh, my Charlie Browns. He calls it his Charlie Brown.
And his Linus.
Does he call it his Linus?
You want to see my Linus and Charlie Browns?
One of my favorite. I had to go back and listen to it with the volume up so I could catch it, because when he's at the doctor getting like examined before he joins the army, he goes, "And my genitalia is shaped like a lobster tail, but without its shell." And so you couldn't catch the whispers. Oh man. Anyways,
that was a good show.
It's actually a great tie-in though, because they used to do the Charlie Brown walk with George Michael when he was sad.
In fact, I think they gave that to several characters. I think they ended up like giving it to Steve Holt at one point too. The thing that I think is most interesting is about like so I think that Charlie Brown and Snoopy probably have the most merchandising of any comic strip of all time. And an argument could be made for Garfield, because there certainly was a lot of Garfield stuff, but I think just for the fact that it's been around this long, and the fact that they've made how many Charlie Brown movies? I mean, heck, there's a Race for Your Life Charlie Brown where the gang is like on a river raft racing like down rapids. There's Bon Voyage Charlie Brown where they go to France and they accidentally burn down a villa and have to save a bunch of people from it. There's a bunch of Charlie Brown movies that came out. Of course, The Great Pumpkin and Charlie Brown Christmas are probably the most famous. But just like 12 years ago, Blue Sky made the Charlie Brown, the Peanuts movie, and that they actually called Peanuts. And that was really good. Did you ever see that? Like the animation style was great, because how do you make a 3D rendering of that thing?
Right.
But it was really good.
Yep, I mean, there's plays, right? There's You're a Good Man,
there's
Charlie
a musical,
Brown.
yeah,
musical. And then I forget for how long, but at the Mall of America, the entire amusement ride area was called Camp Snoopy. It was all Snoopy and Peanuts themed, and
they had Peanuts characters all over Minneapolis.
That's changed since then, right?
Yeah, it's now called the Camp at MOA.
Did they
Which sounds like an
just the
internment
rights?
camp. It sounds like an internment camp. Yeah, they did.
It does.
Because now it's Nickelodeon themed stuff. So it used to be all Peanuts themed stuff. So like the kite eating tree, and it was them on the log flume and junk like that. But now it's themed after Nintendo stuff, which probably makes more sense with kids today and all that kind of garbage. But they also had a deal, I believe, with like Six Flags for a while, where like they had Peanuts characters
that's right.
in the parks. I just feel like it's merchandise to like you saw Joe Cool stuff ever. There's high end art that costs thousands of dollars that are depictions of these characters.
Right. Yeah, I would agree with you that more than likely, because of its longevity and its place in popular culture, that it's probably has had more merchant, and the only one that would come close would be Garfield, and that would be the only one that if someone ran the numbers and showed that, oh, it looks like Garfield's actually slightly ahead, I wouldn't be like surprised. I'd be like, oh, that's interesting. Okay, they're only just a little ahead, but I would say, yeah, more than likely Charlie Brown. And at the same time, Charlie Brown, I would say to this day, is still far more popular than Garfield is.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
That Charlie Brown just has much more universality to it and staying power than Garfield really does. I was obsessed with Garfield when I was a kid because I would get like my stepbrother had a bunch of the sort of long compilation books of Garfield strips. Mm-hmm. So my first time diving into to comic strips that weren't in comic books was Garfield, before I got into Calvin and Hobbes, and that just took over everything. But now when I go back and I read Garfield, I'm like, this is bad. Like, I don't like this at all. But I'll go back and read Peanuts, or I'll go back and read Calvin and Hobbes and be like, this is fantastic. This is amazing.
I'm surprised that you have never directed Dog Sees God, which is, do you know what that is? Have you heard about that before?
I've heard of it.
It's a play that's written featuring the characters from Peanuts, but they're like in their teens and early 20s, and it's very raw. There's a lot of swearing and stuff like that. And I know that there are theater companies who do You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown, and then they switch it immediately into Dog Sees God, which is a very fun Barbenheimer that you can do like that.
That's pretty cool.
But you're the person who introduced me to the variation of the Garfield cartoon where they remove Garfield's word bubbles and it's just John talking to his cat.
Garfield without Garfield. Yeah. I've seen. There's two variations. One where they just take out Garfield's word bubbles, and then one where they take out Garfield entirely. But it's the ones where Garfield is there, but it's just the fact that it becomes the sad story about this man living alone, talking to his pets.
Oh God, it's so good. It's delicious in a way that I just can't get past. Right, good.
Have you ever watched the Lasagna Cat videos on YouTube? Oh God, JJ, you will go down a rabbit hole with this one. These are old videos too. These are old. These are like 20-year-old videos probably on YouTube at this point. Lasagna Cat is the name of the channel. I haven't checked it out for a bit, but I don't think they make new stuff. But they made a ton of stuff. They had a really productive window of time where what they do, every video follows the exact same format. They recreate a 3-panel Garfield strip. They act it out. And they do it in full costume with a green screen background so they can actually mimic how the background is shaded in the comic and stuff. And then so it's like a person in a full Garfield suit behind a green screen, and then an actor playing John with a John wig on and stuff. There's an Odie or whatever. And they act out the 3-panel comic. It ends with a laugh track, a canned laugh track that crossfades then and shows you the strip that it just recreated. So, okay, that's what they just did. Wow, amazing. But then they remix the whole thing into a wild music video, and that's where they just get surreal with it. And then they'll re-edit that entire thing they just showed you to Suicide is Painless, or a 9 Inch Nails song, and then those are bangers too. They're really, really good. And then those always end with an image of John Davis, and then they modify the image in some way every single time. And they've made hundreds of these, and they are so good. So Lasagna Cat on YouTube, check it out.
Did you ever see the documentary? I think it was Searching for Bill Watterson, the guy who did Calvin and Hobbes.
Did I see that? I think I did. I'm trying to remember. What I remember is that it wasn't as good as it should have been.
Because they don't see him. They never actually get to sit down with him.
If it's the one I'm thinking of, though, it was that, but also that it wasn't that well made, anyways, from what I recall.
But there's a great interview with Jim Davis when they're talking about merchandising, right? And they're talking about how, Bill Watterson never. So when you see Calvin peeing on a Ford logo, that's not not sanctioned. And Jim Davis goes, "Yeah, I sold out. Yeah, I sold out, and I do it all again." And he's almost proud of it. And I'm like, "Hey, man, get your money." I also think, okay, this is the train of thought that we're following right now. So Garfield, the success of Garfield means that we get Heathcliff, who is a rip-off version of Garfield to some extent, right? But his theme song is way better than any of the theme songs for Garfield, because if you recall, Heathcliff, no one should terrorize a neighborhood. And so on and so forth.
Because Heathcliff is like an alley cat, right? Who like knocks. He eats out of garbage cans. He's always knocking him over. Yep. I believe, is there a female cat that like just loves him and he's always showing up for her?
And she's good looking. I mean, she awoke in something when I was a kid. And then there's 3 junkyard cats too, and the junkyard cats have a car that can fly.
That's right.
Yeah. And
right. So basically they started with Orange Cat and then massive departure from Garfield. Bingo.
Much. And they're like, yeah, and he loves to eat and he's kind of pudgy. And but
you know what? I just realized, I wonder if growing up being into Garfield is the reason why I've always had an orange cat, because I'm obsessed with orange cats. I love orange cats, and like I'll always have one. So like,
did you ever name a cat after Garfield?
No, I didn't do that. I mean, okay. Like, after Eddie died, I was like, the next cat I got has to be an orange cat. I can't not have an orange cat. So yeah, I just kind of made that connection right now. Maybe that's why.
Garfield also gives us the opportunity to have the show Garfield and Friends. And I loved the And Friends segments where you get to go to the farm, right? And you've got a duck who doesn't know how to swim, so he's constantly wearing like a rubber tube that has a little duck on it. And you get the chicken, and then the chicken who, like, it's a little baby chick, but then his best friend is, I think, like Sheldon was his name, but it was just 2 legs sticking out of an egg and it never been cracked. You have, the pig, like, it's great. Orson the pig.
Is it the Arbuckle farm? Is that the farm that they're on?
I do not know. Wouldn't that make sense though?
Because I think John has a brother who is on a farm. I'm gonna look this up now.
Why does John constantly date women who are his exact same shape and face? Like, that's the thing that weirds me out. Yeah, right. He's like, oh, I'll just take John, but I'll put lips on him and curly hair, and boom, there you go. The last time we discussed Garfield on this podcast is when we talked about the invention of the Tunnel of Love.
Yeah,
and,
that's right.
And the Garfield dark ride that is just bizarre and weird that existed for a little while.
Okay, television, Garfield and Friends. Go to this page.
Are you finding? Is this on Wikipedia?
This is on Wikipedia.com. I'm just trying to.
Do you give money to Wikipedia?
I don't. I should. I would. I'm on the page for Garfield and Friends. So I'm just trying to see if it says. Okay. So it's from. Okay. I didn't realize this. So Jim Davis had 2 comic strips that were going at the same time: Garfield and U.S. Acres. And so this cartoon was a combination of those things. So now I got to go to U.S. Acres. Also known as Orson's Farm and Orson's Place in Canada. Huh. Yeah, it might not be the Arbuckle Farm. It might just be that it's just a farm.
Do you know why that comic strip got canceled? Are you that far into the Wikipedia?
No.
It's because they had a whole like Sunday series of slaughter where Orson the pig gets slaughtered, and it shows it in great detail. And it wasn't the content, it was the fact that these printers ran out of red ink. And they said, no more. We're done with U.S. Acres. That's going to wrap it up for today's show. If you enjoyed this episode and would like to help us continue to produce new episodes each week, visit jjmeetsworld.com, where you can donate to our Patreon, pick up some swag at the merch shop, or follow our link to Apple Podcasts and leave us a 5-star review. You can also follow us on social media. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, all the sites the cool kids are using these days. JJ Meets World is produced every week by Tucker Lucas. You can find out more about Tucker's work by visiting moonbasemaria.com. If you want to get in touch with your host with the most, check out linebenders.com, where you can find direct contact info for JJ or booking information. There is another story about an orange cat that nobody ever talks about. And of course, it's the 12 commandments. It's the 10 commandments plus 2 that have to deal with kitty litter.